low post, mid post, high post, post game sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Post Game Sports. Thank y'all as always for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. You can catch me. Shout out to the WTP Sports News. You can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday night at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Saturday and Sunday mornings. Saturdays at 10 a.m., Sundays at 9 a.m. The question I have is, why are so many people taking shots at Notre Dame? No other program takes shots like Notre Dame takes. These are facts. So let's begin. You got Collin Cowherd with his podcast taking shots at Notre Dame. Calls Notre Dame's schedule weak. Says that Notre Dame has been crawling back to USC to get them back on the schedule. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Hasn't BYU been a better team than USC? So if you replace BYU with USC, your schedule should be stronger. Correct me if I'm wrong. Notre Dame is 8-2 against USC the last 10 matchups, right? I'm just trying to understand this because, especially if you grew up and you got into fist fights, especially if you grew up in the inner city, when have you ever saw the victor of a fight run from the loser? For everyone out there saying Notre Dame is ducking the USC smoke, Notre Dame has been smacking USC around the last 10 matchups. So you tell me, when have you ever seen the winner of a fight duck smoke from the loser of a fight? That's first things first. As far as a week's schedule, I don't put much stock into preseason strength of schedules and all that because we simply don't know which one of these programs are going to progress and exceed expectations, and which one of these programs are going to fall back, i.e. a Clemson. So it's real difficult to gauge strength of schedule. I don't pay much mind to it this early on in the year. Once we get into the season and we see what these teams look like, then we can talk about strength of schedule. But I don't, just looking at it, I don't think Notre Dame has the worst schedule in the country. I mean, they play a BYU team who, if it wasn't for Texas Tech, would probably run the Big 12. SMU, they were a playoff team a few years ago. They're expected to do well this season. All the Big Ten people tell me Wisconsin is going to be an improved team. And then you got a team who just played for the national championship in Miami who might be even better, particularly on offense. So I don't think that's such a terrible schedule. And if Steve Angeli for Syracuse comes back and is playing healthy and is playing like he did before he went down with the injury, what can Syracuse be? I love their coach. So I don't put much stock into preseason strength of schedule. It could be really deceiving. Dabo Sweeney taking shots at Notre Dame. Can anybody explain this one? You know the duck when you hear shots. Um, First of all, I would say fix your program before you talk about others. That would be my thing. If I was a college football coach, there's no way on earth I'm worried about what no other program is doing but mine. Dabo has fallen behind the times and he's trying to catch up. He's gasping for air. You ever see a fish flop out of water? Me and my homies call that fish frying. You ever see a fish flopping out of water? That's what Dabo Sweeney is. Why don't you ask head coach Micah Shrewsbury of the Notre Dame basketball program if he's seen this magical money printer? He lost a lot of players. It's likely because they couldn't pay him the type of money these other programs could. The ACC sellout rate is sitting at 23%. That's the ACC sellout rate when it comes to football games. When Notre Dame comes into one of these ACC teams' home field for a game, the sellout rate jumps to 90%. That's what Notre Dame can do for you. When you talk about the ACC crying and complaining about Notre Dame, 23%, 90%, that's a huge difference. That's what Notre Dame does for the ACC. So, hell yes. If Notre Dame is doing that for your conference, they should be able to go in your refrigerator and eat some food. I don't know about all that other weird stuff that was mentioned, but if Notre Dame is at a 90% rate as opposed to 23%, Notre Dame should be able to come in the kitchen and eat some food, right? That's just my thoughts on it. The reason why Notre Dame is catching strays, it isn't because of money. It isn't because of independence. It isn't because of scheduling. It isn't about recruiting. It isn't about conferences. It isn't about guaranteed playoff spots. These people are terrified of what Notre Dame is becoming and the dominant force they can be in college football. Look how well Notre Dame has been recruiting in the last few cycles. You got guys like Will Black, Christopher Burgess, Madden Faramo, Rodney Dunham, Joey O'Brien, Kari Adams, Olu Bobola, and David Florencio. The list goes on and on. Some of the best high school football players have been picking Notre Dame over the last few cycles. And me personally, yeah, Brian Kelly had a couple of classes. Yeah, Charlie Weiss had a couple of classes, but in my lifetime, nothing like this. This is unbelievable what Marcus Freeman is doing on the recruiting trail. And this coming from a guy who, when NIL and transfer portal first started, I didn't think Notre Dame would be willing to play with the money like they are, but they are. They have been active in the transfer portal, and they spend just as much as money as anybody else. And that's the name of the game, right? You can't be mad at any team for spending money. The name of the game is to spend money to get players. That's just it. The name of the game is spending money in the NIL and transfer portal era. So I don't understand why they get any kind of pushback. That's the name of the game. Marcus Freeman is the hottest coach in college football. And when he wins a national championship, I think he'll only become the best coach in college football. These programs see what I see, and that Notre Dame is about to become a national nightmare for everyone else. I believe with recruiting, NIL, transfer portal, buy-in from the administration, having Marcus Freeman updating facilities on top of already having a national brand despite not winning since 88. Notre Dame, and some of y'all gonna call me crazy. I don't care. Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman are on the cusp of having a similar run to what Nick Saban and Alabama had. Call me crazy all you want, but I think all these things, having a head coach like Marcus Freeman, being competitive in NIL, the Notre Dame brand itself, I believe they can go or are about to go on that type of run. You can call me crazy. I said what I said. All these facts is the reason why Notre Dame is catching so many strays, because these people, they don't care about the money Notre Dame is spending. They spending money. They don't care about none of these other factors. They are frightened, terrified of what Notre Dame can be. An independent, small private school that isn't in the Big Ten or the SEC is dominating college football. They have to stop that before it starts. And that's why, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, you see so many strays being taken at the Irish. Let me know what y'all thought in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I'm out of here. Peace.
Low post, mid post, high post. Post game sports.